Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at an adorable little bob style that isn't brand new. I believe she's been on the market for a few months. This is Kyla by Jon Renau in the color Oyster, and I can't wait to look at all the details for this beautiful style. First, I'd like to thank Shirley's Wig Shop for sending me Kyla so that I can review her for you. And also to remind you that Shirley has a private Facebook group called Shirley's Wig Shop, Hair's Looking at You Kid. And it's a wonderful group. You can exchange ideas and information, ask questions, or show off your beautiful styles. And we invite you to join us there. Also, I wanted to ask, if you haven't done so before, please subscribe down below, like and comment, and we'll get started. So today's review is just a little bit different because I actually have worked on Kyla a little bit already. I haven't done any trimming, but I created a shorts video all about how I like to style my wigs when I first get them out of the box. And I will leave a link to that shorts video in my description box down below in case you would like to see what Kyla looked like right out of the box. In fact, I'll probably post a picture right here as well, just so you can see that very first look right out of the box. So I have basically steamed a new part in place, steamed fibers away from the face, used a little Jon Renau piece out on the front hairline here, and some dry shampoo powder. So that's what I've done, and most of you have really seemed to enjoy that shorts video, but I did have one very observant viewer point out that the part here is looking a little dense. You know, you can't see much scalp appearance at all. I hope you can see that. And that is absolutely something I normally focus on. I didn't for that shorts video. There's only so much you can do in 60 seconds, but I thought today, since I've already done some styling, what we could do is work on this part line to get it to look a little more realistic with some scalp appearance showing. So we will do that together. And but first, let me go ahead and show you the details now that I've worked on her a little bit, but we haven't redone that part line yet. So first, let's look at the lace front, and it is an extended lace front that runs from about here, and I have a little bit of bio hair peeking out there, but about here to here on me. Beautiful extended lace front, wonderful lighter fibers, very soft, delicate hairline, beautifully done. And then we have a left mono part, and as I said, we're not seeing much scalp appearance, but we can absolutely achieve more scalp appearance even without plucking. So we will look at that. All right, let's go ahead and look at her from all sides. And sometimes I like to use the Jon Renau white tooth comb for these bob styles. That works a little bit better than your fingers sometimes. For longer styles, I really prefer using my fingers. But I do love this Jon Renau comb. So let's go ahead and look at her from all sides. Here she is from the right and the back and the left. So just really as cute as can be, this little style, and so easy to wear. You know, you have a few layers throughout, you have a length that really won't bother you and will feel wonderfully cool in the summertime because you're not feeling much on your neck, and yet you still have that flattering bob shape. So I absolutely adore a style like this for the summer months especially. So next we will go ahead and we'll work on that part line. And probably steam it in place. That's why I have the blockhead out. Then we'll look at the cap construction. We'll go over some styling options for this little style. We'll take her outside and get a good look at this beautiful color in natural light. And lastly, we'll go over final thoughts. So let's work on this part line and see if we can't achieve some scalp appearance. What I noticed after looking at it more carefully is that even within this left mono part, you have down the center, it appears to be knotted a little more densely than it is on either side of center within that mono part. And we'll look at that when we look at the cap construction as well. But where I have it parted right now is pretty much down the center. And so I think if we move the part either slightly to the left or slightly to the right, we should be able to achieve more scalp appearance. And I have some silicone scar tape under there already, so hopefully my dark bio hair won't show through. So let's go ahead and change the part. I think I'll go slightly to the left. All right, and now I hope you can see that. I do see a little bit of scalp appearance here that I think looks lovely. I'll get a good look at that in the mirror as well to see if I like where this part is now. I think that's good. And if I need to, I can add a little bit of matte eyeshadow that's the same color as my scalp to see if that helps, but I think that is already looking good, and absolutely. So we'll get a good look at that, and if I like it, then I'll put her on the blockhead and we'll steam it in place. All right, so she's on the blockhead. I did play around with that part just a little bit more to get it exactly where I wanted it. And this is what she looks like now. You can absolutely see through to the blockhead a little bit, and we will add some powder to that part as well after we finish with the steaming. So I've clipped the fibers back so that they stay in place and so that I'm not risking my fingers while I do the steaming. So what we'll do is we'll steam this new part line in place, and then I want to steam these fibers away from the face again, just a little bit on the right side since we moved some of the fibers around, and I just want to reinforce a little bit of lift in the front. So we'll do that together. I wanted to mention that I have a full steaming video on my channel all about how I like to steam style my synthetic, and this is a traditional synthetic style, not heat friendly, but you can use steam on it. But I also use steam on my heat friendly synthetics as well, so I'll leave a link to that in my description box down below. And I'll just show you, this is my little handheld clothes steamer that I purchased on Amazon, and that's what I like to use to do my steaming. So let's go ahead and get started. When you're steaming, be sure to direct the steam at the fibers, not at the delicate lace front or monofilament portions of the cap. Keep your steamer moving. Don't leave it in any one place for more than 3 seconds. All right, that should do it. Now I need to let these fibers cool completely so the new style can set, and we'll put her back on and see if we like the results. So she's back on my head and the fibers are nice and cool to the touch. So let's go ahead and see if we like how this turned out. Absolutely. I love that little bit of lift in the front, and I think I do like this new part. Let's go ahead. I do want to add a little bit of matte eyeshadow and see if we can't create just a little more scalp appearance. So what I have here is my NYX shadow palette in warm neutrals. And as you can see, I've been using a lot of this color here. So that's what I'm going to use on the part line. And because I have a little bit of silicone scar tape on the underside of the part, that will really help the powder adhere as well, so that I don't need to reapply it every time I take my wig off and put it back on. Then that powder stays in place. So that's another benefit of using that that scar tape. So let's go ahead, and I just have a skinny little brush that I'm using for this. Let's see if I can do this here in the camera. It's a little easier in the mirror, but. All right. And if you have a little bit of excess, you can just pat it. And if it really is appearing too bright, then you can absolutely just remove the scar tape underneath, and that will help also remove the powder, and then you can redo it if you want to or not. So absolutely, let's get a good look at that. Hopefully you can see that. We'll look at it outside as well, but I think that now has created a really nice amount of scalp appearance for this little style, and that absolutely helps with the realism and helps the whole style look more natural, I think. So just lovely. One more thing, if you wanted to, I am noticing there is a longer piece here in the front, and I think if I just pull down on that, that is coming from the side of the style here. So sometimes if there's just a piece of fiber like that bothering me a little bit, because I also think this style is meant to be very symmetrical, and I'm not seeing it on the other side. So I think I'm just going to trim this one little piece. So let's do that together. I like to use some sharp hair trimming shears. I'll leave that in my description box as well. And with a bob style like this, you can see it even wants to flip a little. So yes, I think just trimming this a tiny bit will really help. So I like to angle anything I cut on the side of a bob style, especially just in keeping with the style. So since this is slightly angled, I think I will keep that and not go too much straight across, but that's, I believe, the piece that I need to trim. So let's go ahead and do that together. Very careful, of course, not to nick your fingers. And it doesn't need to be perfection because it just kind of gets integrated with the style again. And now we have a nice amount of symmetry. You still have that little bend here, which is very pretty. And I'm loving it. I'm ready to head out the door. Very easy. And from now on, I really won't need to do anything with this style except wash it occasionally, because even in the weather, of course, this beautiful style will stay the way it is. It won't frizz or change shape or anything like that. So absolutely love it. Next, let's look at the cap construction. So here we have the cap construction. First, I'll remove the piece of silicone scar tape that I like to apply to the underside of the cap to help create that scalp appearance where otherwise my dark biohair might show through the monofilament. And as I mentioned, it also helps that powder, and you can see some residue there, adhere a little bit better to the parting space. So I like to use the AWD Medical silicone scar sheets, and I'll leave that in my description box. I purchased them on Amazon. So as you can see, we have a left mono part here. And, you know, it's pretty generous. You have definitely a little bit of room where you can move around. You can move the part center, left or right within this left mono part. And as I said, towards the center here, it seems to be a little bit more densely knotted than it is toward either side. And you can see that the highlighting placement is a little bit different depending on where you part her as well. So then we have an extended lace front, and I love that. That comes about halfway down the ear tabs on both sides. And the reason why I love extended lace fronts is that they allow you to style the wig away from the face and have that appearance of hair growth all along that extended lace front. So it's very versatile, and I love that feature. Then we have soft ear tabs with metal stays, a standard nape, not an extended nape, Velcro style adjuster, so you can adjust her to your circumference. I left the adjusters where they were, and I have a 22-inch circumference head. All my measurements are listed down below in the description box. This cap fits me very comfortably, just like this. And of course, because you have that open wefting on the sides and in the back, you also have a nice and stretchy cap. I did check the style for permatease, and let me just point out here, in this area next to the mono part, this lacy area, this is where you will absolutely find some permatease, but it's very well done. You know, it's not visible from the surface. Hopefully you can see that. And I just think it helps maintain that beautiful rounded, slightly voluminous shape, but not too poofy at all. You have a little bit of permatease in some other areas as well, but really kind of minimal and well done. And overall, I think this is a lovely cap construction on this style. So let's look at some styling options. With an adorable and sophisticated little bob style like this, I wouldn't want to do too much. I think she's adorable worn just this way. But if you want to do just a few things around your house or just to style her a little bit, you do have some options. So let's look at a few. I always like to test the ear tuck. And of course, my bio hair is showing here and is not a good match. So I would want to use some root powder to disguise that. But look at that adorable little full tuck on this side. I feel like on the other side, it's a little dense. I mean, you could probably do a half a tuck like that. That works. But I would say overall, this does feel medium or light to medium density, because you can absolutely achieve some volume, especially where you have that permatease, you know, in the top area, not in the mono part, of course. So if you like a voluminous style, I think you can easily achieve it with this beautiful little wig. And let's go ahead. I always like to show you a headband, but first I do have a little clip I wanted to show you, just a mini clear claw clip. And if you wanted to just clip some of these front fibers back, especially with this extended lace front, you can do that so easily. Then that will absolutely keep fibers out of your face throughout the day if you're cooking or working and just don't want to feel anything falling forward at all. I think that's a good look. Then let's go ahead and look at the headband, because this allows me to show you exactly what kind of coverage I'm getting as well from this style. All right. And that is actually a cute look. I really think that you can easily pull this away from the face. And if you have a smaller face than I do, or a smaller head, then you'll have a little more length as well. But you can see here exactly where my bio hair is showing and what kind of coverage I'm getting. Just again, we have that beautiful lace front. You can see that extended, that parting space that I think is looking very nice and natural now. And then the coverage that I'm getting, as you can see, runs here. So it's a good amount of coverage. I always have a little bit of bio hair showing. I have a low hairline and a 22-inch circumference, so that's not surprising. I think this is a good amount of coverage for me, and I would just use some root powder to disguise this if I were to wear this color pulled back in that way. So absolutely some versatility for this adorable little style. Next, let's go outside and let's get a good look at this beautiful color in natural light. First, I'll read you the description from Shirley's website, and it is described as a light gray with 20% medium brown front. So that's the description for the front of the style. Graduating to gray with 30% medium brown nape. And I absolutely noticed that if you look at the nape area, let me see if I can separate it out for you. You absolutely have some darker fibers, a little darker gray towards the nape. Maybe I'll do it when I do my spin, but you can see it just kind of peeking out, and it's very pretty and very natural looking, I think, to have a little bit of darker gray in the back there. I do have the sample from the coloring. Let's go ahead and look at that. You can see these three different tones. So you have a darker brownish gray there, and then a medium gray, and I think there's a little bit of brown in there as well, and then this lighter toned gray with absolutely a lot of white in it if it's not just completely white. But these are the three colors that are represented in the style, and you absolutely have some of the lighter fibers in the front. Let's look at the details. You have those light fibers along that front hairline that really helps soften it and create a natural looking hairline if you want to style it away from the face. And then we have that parting space that I think looks nice and natural now. So let's go ahead and do a quick spin so that we can see these colors from all sides. You can see the highlighting is just beautifully done. It's blended quite well. Where we have her parted now, I do see just a little bit of highlighting that's visible. It doesn't bother me at all, but if you would prefer more of a blend, I think if you part it in the center of that mono part, that left mono part, then you have more of a blend. But let's go ahead and get a good look at this from all sides. Here she is from the right. And the back. And here's the nape area. Hopefully you can see this with the darker gray. And the left. So absolutely, I think the result is just this beautiful, dimensional, interesting gray and brown mix with some beautiful bright highlighting that really accentuates the style and creates a dynamic, gorgeous color for this little bob style. So next we'll go inside and we'll go over final thoughts. Kyla here is just an absolutely adorable, sophisticated little bob style that's so easy to wear for the summer months or any time really. With this length, you won't get hot around your neck and shoulder area, and yet you still have this beautiful little style around the face. I think she's actually quite versatile also for this length. I think you can achieve quite a bit of volume if you want to, or make her more sleek the way I've styled her. You can absolutely do an ear tuck or wear her with a headband. So very versatile and beautiful. I love the features, of course, on this style. The extended lace front that allows you to style her away from the face and have that appearance of hair growth all along that lace. The left mono part, I think, works well. You're able to achieve some nice scalp appearance if that's what you like. And yeah, these synthetic fibers, we did use a little bit of dry shampoo powder on them. They didn't really bother me, but I just wanted to show how if you really are bothered by shine on synthetic styles, you can use a little bit of dry shampoo powder and that will tone down the shine very easily. This color, Oyster, is absolutely gorgeous. I'm sort of investigating grays a little bit because eventually I will be gray naturally, and then I'll want to wear a gray wig as well. At least that's what I'm anticipating, so I enjoy occasionally trying a gray style, and I do love this Oyster. I could absolutely see wearing this as my first gray color once I do transition to that. I love the little, darker flippy ends here in the nape. I think that is just interesting and natural looking as well. A little peekaboo of dark gray, and I think the rest of the colors are dynamic and beautiful. And I see more gray than brown in it, but I think for anyone who's a brunette and transitioning, this color would really be ideal. So absolutely an adorable, easy to wear, sophisticated bob style. I wanted to remind you that you can purchase Kyla from Shirley's Wig Shop, and I will leave a direct link to it in my description box down below. Also, I wanted to thank you for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.